And what makes the matters worse about mid lane priority is the jungle matchup early. Nocturne, we saw it yesterday from Fury, right? Not the best champion at actually applying pressure pre-level 6 to a lane here. So Harry's going to be able to go about the laning phase pretty unimpeded. And that is a very scary prospect, because not only are you going to have the Lucian army pushing into your turret as the Smolder, you're going to be having a Vitalia down there as well.
It's going to be a scary prospect either way, Max, but what we have right now is a best of 5 and our first chance here in the upper bracket to decide which team will be sending over to Taiwan to represent the region abroad. It's a big, big option and a massive opportunity for them to showcase just how good our region can be. But it all starts here with the level 1. And we'll see if anything goes awry.
I would be very surprised to see so. I think neither team has a very good level 1 composition. You could argue the Team Bliss with its Leah and Lucian army could potentially go in. But I think, honestly, the summoner spells and rune choices across the board are something to discuss, because Lemus has gone for the teleport here. So not a combat summon, going to be very vulnerable to this Lucian army without an exhaust or a heal to come through. Instead, opting to be able to get back to lane fast, almost anticipating the fact that he's going to be getting traded on very aggressively and valuing getting back to lane. And on the opposite side of the map, in the top lane, TN gone for the Ignite TP here on Gwen. This is something you always do into the Jax matchup, because you really do need to threaten that 1v1. You need to be able to put the damage onto him in order to get wave control, because or else he will just fight you. So definitely looking to top lane to be some action, but so far, Lemus and Benvi doing a nice job here. That you can see the Smolder Achu getting so much value from that W. But Lucian army, once again, will secure the priority.
Well, they certainly should do. As you can see, Scott, they're going to try and really gain control of that bush nice and early. But I think it's an interesting point you raised, right, with the adaptation for the double TP. And in terms of both champions, certainly would love to have Ghost online for the uptime for their damage to really go crazy once those team fights become the main focus. But we've seen more and more teams now lean towards a triple TP setup. And maybe that is the punishment to make sure that the Smolder doesn't run away with it, at least in that 2v2 sense.
Yeah, for the time being, though, TN just going to drop that preemptive ward. Figure out the one that is not pathing towards him. Going to dash in here. He's level 3 to level 2, though, so the trade won't be too bad back. And this is really why the Ignite's so important here, because in a lot of matchups, if you don't take this Ignite, Biopanther could just fight you really on the wave, especially if he starts with the Doran's Blade. But he has gone with this shield and fleet footwork setup. Something we've been seeing a lot more Jaxes lean towards really as their rune of preference. Synergizes both well in the sense that it gives you that sustain on in the early game to be able to, survive some of your rougher laning matchups. But also can work quite nicely in terms of being able to close the distance. When you have like an E, you can auto-attack a creep, get that extra burst of movement speed, and get towards a minion there. But for the time being, just going to be the wave crash tier 10. Most likely going to get a little cheater recall. And top lane returns to normal.
Yeah, it's a good point. As you mentioned, we've seen it more and more with them leading against the likes of a Grasp or a Lethal Tempo. Certainly a happy hybrid medium. Allows them to get all the luxury that they're after either way. Bot lane still, as you'd imagine, would be them. Looking to try and be sneaky, feign a cheeky little Aqua person, but Benvi, ignorant or not, just walks in and simply dodges it. And won't fall victim to a first blood just yet. Why not though? Going to get a little bit aggressive, plant a bit of a wall there in the enemy side as Airy look to try and get aggressive with that seismic shove and potentially threaten a kill.
Very dangerous there for Kisei in the mid lane. Does have the dash to be able to get out of that sticky situation. And both junglers will match their resets after full clearing. Now, Why Not has opted for this Doran's Blade, so a nice little adaptation to provide yourself with one of the most effective early game items in terms of your skirmishing power. But because he looked for that little play in the mid lane, Shernfire will be able to walk up and drop the ward on the enemy Raptors. So, I mean, he already should have a decent idea of when that's respawning, but now we'll be able to have that visually confirmed. As you can see throughout this entire game, both junglers doing a very nice job of tracking one another. So far, none of that priority has really come to hurt Ground Zero, but it's once those resets start coming through, particularly in the bot lane, that we could be expecting something.
But that's exactly right, because it still seems like such a gamble to say, we'll let you have that Smolder deliberately from that red side and give Biopan for the counter pick as a result right now as well. And I think, honestly, if it works in their favor, it sends a bit of a statement that you can have this champion that you've looked so good on and actually got a penta with, but if we can beat it and make it look pretty irrelevant, I think you start to second guess all your drafting.
Absolutely, and that can just be in terms of the mental edge that you acquire really damaging in such an extended series, because it is a champion that they have prioritized above everything else multiple games in a row now. So taking away their certainty that will bring them a win can put yourself in good stead. Now, There's a lot of wards here spotting Schönfire out on the bot side of the map. He will know the grubs are going over right now. And this should open up an opportunity to go for the dragon, but why not actually just beelining straight down here? Has Harry in the area, but Kisei.
Fantastic flash there as Kisei looks for the scoop. Escorted by 2 members in the area with Benvi on that roam, as we mentioned. It's going to be beautifully matched there by Harry, dodging out with the protection of Why Not 2. They avoid any chaos of Ground Zero's choosing.
Yeah, big reaction from Harry to avoid going down from first blood. Kisei just ticks 6 first, goes in straight away with his support and jungle in the area. And that will be burning the flash. So this is really important versus Taliyah in the Taliyah-Azir matchup, right? Gives Azir the opportunity, once that Emperor's Divide does come back off cooldown, to really start getting active once again. As you can see, Benvi returning to the bot lane here. Wave is slightly pushed against them. And Why Not is in the area, so they just want to get this wave in as quickly as possible. Go perhaps water him, take a reset, and allow themselves a little bit more safety. Now, we harp on and on about scaling comps and wanting to keep the game nice and calm. But so far, it has really been going in their favor. Only 500, 400 really separating the 2 teams here.
Yeah, certainly. It's a case of them wanting to obviously get those level 6s online as quickly as they can for the likes of the Azir to make moves, as we just saw, as well as Schönfire, obviously, to deploy on the map and try and target a key area to get them ahead. Obviously, a lot of volatile lanes that he could look to try and lend his hand towards, and top lane certainly isn't no forgotten area, as he will be actually going for a steal onto Why Not's red buff, with him actually going back to base for a reset of his own. It's a bit of a good timing, great movement, and solid punish.
Really nice there, because Why Not did show on that pink ward in the mid lane. Allows Schönfire the time to go and equalize the level 6 disparity. Now, top lane, you can see the trading was going in favor of TN, but he has used the TP, right? That is still available for Biopanther if he wants to use it. And he may just be forced to here. You can see Schönfire in the area, the Paranoia definitely online and available to be used. He needs to hover by TN rather to be able to crash this wave in, because Why Not's in the area, and this is a Gwen with no flash, keep in mind.
Yeah, both are looking. Both are looking to try and bait each other as the lights go out. One is going to jump on in and go for the flash and get the kill, but it's beaten by Tien, who claims the first blood bounty. And now Schönfire, with all that extra attack speed, flashes to say we will gank first and we will just win.
There's the useful Paranoia coming out of Schönfire. We knew that it was going to be a skirmish top lane, and Tien survives for just long enough off the Why Not flash to be able to pick up those double kills. Lethal tempo for Schönfire, really providing so much value off the back end of that fight that he can just run Why Not down. And 2 kills going over will completely equalize this game in 8 minutes.
Certainly is a phenomenal set of events there. Took a while, 30 seconds of them baiting one another, but ultimately the burst of a Gwen and Nocturne too much.
Well, that's the thing, right? You can see that Vi and Jax both have to commit everything to be able to kill TN here. The Counter-Strike as well as the Vi Vault Breaker Flash. And that means that, yes, you do pick up the kill, but then suddenly a Nocturne is on top of you and you have nothing to be able to fight back with. So just a nice little 2v2 coming out from the side of Ground Zero's. Hold on, Violet in the bot lane.
Yeah, going to be an exchange of ultimates used by both AD carries, but nothing really defined of it, because for Lee Mist it was a case of simply pushing away, forcing the crash, and getting himself back to base for yet another item purchase. As for Violet, a little bit of an opportunity to try and make sure that nothing more were to come of it. But it will be Bliss to pick up the first dragon as a result of that gank in top side. And certainly is a bit of a difference maker, right? Kills versus objectives.
Well, I think especially with this bot lane, it's really hard to actually get anything done for the side of Ground Zero. Smolder Tom will very rarely have priority as Schönfire just walks straight over a ward. He'll spot it eventually and go back to clean it up. Why Not's looking on him?
Might just be all he does for the meantime as he protects that control ward, so that's going to regenerate quite nicely, and Schönfire is going to get bullied away. The Scuttler looked at, but then getting juked away from, as you saw a bit of aggression and potential movement from both bot laners.
Well, I think that's what's really scared Schönfire off of that play, is the fact that Team Bliss's bot lane could be first to it, and you certainly don't want to be skirmishing around that Lucian Nami early on if you can prevent it. Now, question is how these next grubs are going to go. We saw one pick up all 3 of the first ones, and Schönfire here will skip his camps to be able to pick these up. Now, Biopanther dropped a ward on the blue. The fact that he's not showing on this kind of does give an indication that he's starting these up. And they've brought Benvi up as well. He'll now walk back as he realizes that his Smolder might be under threat, but it'll buy just enough time for Schönfire to pick up at least 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 of these grubs.
It certainly looks like the denial of those Void Mites that Bliss may have been hoping to achieve is to be the outcome. So 3 apiece then, as it's going to be Violet that actually gets the first fully completed item with the Storm Razor done at 10.5 minutes. Certainly where you want your Lucian to be. Strong, stable early game. Exerts that pressure that the Lucian is renowned for. And you'd really be hoping that Scott isn't too far away with that Imperial Mandate right after. And that point, really, your damage just goes skyrocket.
Oh, it's nuclear. Lemus is going to have a very hard time actually laning, because even if you do have a Devour, the fact that this damage can come out so quickly means that it'll just be little short trades that will end up winning you out of lane. As TN in the top lane here, looking aggressive on Bio.
He is actually going to pop the ultimate, and then once again, the paranoia comes out and showing in a lot of aggression. And find the kill, which they cannot get onto Biopanther, too slippery. As the Jax, the Flash, the Woodhop, and the baited attempt there, which opens the door for why not to be aggressive bot side as they look for Lemus and force out his own flash. He can summon the ultimate, clear the wave, and prevent the dive. And it all comes from Benvy's roam.
And the crucial thing here, Skimmy, is Lemus still has the TP, so he can just use that, pop that summon spell and get right back into the lane. There is a why not in the area, but keep in mind, Benvy will have the Devour. If the TP comes through, there is a chance that he just gets bubbled and aqua prisoned and 100 to 0'd. So you can see he's deliberating this right now. Doesn't want to cast the TP. There it is. Can they defend it? And it looks like the answer is yes.
It seems to be the case. There is no Nocturne up, but he is in the area to make sure it will be that straight 3v3. And Harry looking to try and lock down Kisei as well to make sure that nobody else leaves lane for a second to engage the potential all-out brawl. They look to try and turn their attention onto Why Not, who says, you know what, fair enough, I will get bullied out of that. And will retreat back inside the river. And whilst yeah, it only has been 3 kills in only 12 minutes, you've seen that they're not shy of looking for those opportunities.
No, and control wards have kind of become a pseudo-objective here. Why Not earlier defending his in the river, and both Kisei and Schönfire are running up to defend their vision as well. So either team really looking for an opportunity to get into a fight. You think Ground Zero around their top side is really where they would like to be taking those. As for Team Bliss, it is this bot lane. Essence Reaver has been completed for Lemus, but definitely nowhere near as strong of a spike. Lucian just so powerful with this Nami behind him. But so far, not really able to find too much success, Skimmy. It's about 10 CS that will be the lead, all things said and done. Yes, you got that dragon, but really you'd be hoping to snowball this Lucian Nami more. And if you're Ground Zero, you're pretty happy with how slow this game's going.
Absolutely, and it seems to be once again that curse of, you know, Lemus has been on the receiving end of it, saying, oh, go for the Draven Ash and wait for the more poke aggressive angle, but never really got a chance to utilize it to its full strength. The Imperial Mandate has now been picked up, and with the tier 2 boots done for Violet as well, they've got those double combat summoners in the bot lane. Surely now would be the ideal time to up the ante and get a bit more aggressive, as you can see that Biopanther will continue to command a fair bit of respect from Schön to make sure that TN does get ahead, and if they spot that, expect the all-in bot.
There was just a classic TN performance here. You can see he's gotten 2 turret plays for him up in that top lane. This is really where his lane dominance is coming into effect. So he'll base now and pick up the Riftmaker. So this is kind of the more bruiser-oriented option for Gwen. You know, Nash's Tooth has been something that she wants to work towards as well. But here allows that little bit extra survivability in case, you know, you take a Vi ultimate, you're in these extended skirmishes. You'll be feeling pretty good about that. But now the Infernal Dragon spawning, 4 members of either team are in the area. And you can actually see the way Biopanther's walking back to lane that he may try to hover down here as well.
But he may do. We'll have that TP advantage and may look to try and entertain a fight before he TPs up to protect the wave that TN will be looking to try and crash. How many more plates can he get as a result of this deliberation? Because halfway down that mid lane, he says, you know what, I will just return to top instead. So visual control will be cleared out back in Team Bliss's favor. And with the inline track to look at that dragon, no doubt will be the ones to try and invite Ground Zero for that fight. But nobody willing to engage on spawn.
Yeah, no, not even despite that Biopanther move, the Team Bliss feel confident enough to actually start that. They've got every single summoner on those 4 members, not including Bio. So do have a lot of combat power if they choose. Now, with mid lane freed up here, Harry will be hovering down. This Vitalia can definitely lock down and one-shot somebody. But as for now, it will just be a bit of a standoff. Why not ultimately with that bot lane priority, walking and starting out the dragon. But this is on Vision, and both top laners have TPs.
It is on Vision, hence they read the play beautifully of making sure that Why Not was going to be able to sneak that one in for a gank in the mid lane before the fight broke out for a nice little pick. A little bit of harass from Lemus as he looks to try and find his way. So tidal wave goes out, the lights turn off. And for the meantime, Schönfire saying this is not to ult, this is just to guarantee the objective goes our way. It certainly seems to be that case right now. So he picks it up to make a 1-for-1. call the mummy and summon it on through to get that kill into the enemy jungler and send him down for 20 seconds and really limit the impact of this Lucian and Nami. benvi holds on for dear life with the thick skin coming in clutch as Bio rocks up, but he falls down in a heartbeat there. Kisei too strong from afar, but it is a double found by Violet, so it's not all doom and gloom after all.
I mean, Skimmy, how much more even can this game get? The Dragon goes over to Ground Zero, yes, but both teams lose their top laner and jungle off the back of it. The quicker TP and quicker decisiveness really from Ground Zero to collapse upon Why Not nets them the initial kill, but on the back end, hey, we're using a really nice Weaver's Wall to box the rest of Ground Zero in. As we can take a look once again at how this starts here. So you can see Team Bliss not really wanting to fully commit onto the Dragon. They think they can pick off benvi, but the second the Paranoia is popped, the TP comes out. They are more than willing to re-engage on this blue side here. You can see a really nice time Kent W finding Why Not and taking him out quickly. But it's this back end here, really, Tian's a little bit out of position. They see Kisei's zoned off as well, and that gives him the confidence to run back in. Violet just free hitting on the back line. Limus tries to trade back, but it's really Kisei on this Azir who's able to find the damage and net them that kill. And Skimmy, despite all that fighting, both teams tied on 2,700 gold.
That they certainly are. You couldn't write a better pre-game in terms of looking at their stats, their breakdown, their keys to success. They really are incredibly even on their day. Any of these teams can look to try and win the LCO right now. So they do go for that classic combo on towards Tien, and he just removed from the map. Down to 30 seconds. Once again, Nocturne looking for the ultimate. He goes to try and steal the Herald, but it's not going to be successful. The Empress Divide shoves back two, but they're not winning the fight just yet. It's going to be two found by Kisei as he's still so strong and healthy. And Bio with a flash already burnt. Waits for the cooldown and leaps back in with that counter strike. It's going to be an extended trade. It's going to be Kisei that gets a quadra kill. And with no more HP, he can't hunt for the Penta, as Harry will concede that the Smolder is too much.
This is the game we were hoping for, Skimmy. A massive fight straight off the back of another one. This time it's going to be the objective going in favor of Team Bliss. Once again, 4 kills traded, but let's take a look at how it starts. Tien gets collapsed upon here. benvi tries to devour him over the wall, but the terrain is too thick. He can't find the angle, and that means that Gwen isolated goes down. However, Ground Zero, they know that Talia isn't here. She still has to run up the river, and Kisei, with a fantastic scoop onto 3 people, starts off his quadra kill.
I mean, quite honestly, it's becoming a bit of a mid-gap at this point, right? Yes, Henry's been putting in the blinder, but he's a 004 to Lear at this point. But you look at Kisei, a late-game powerhouse, to get a quadra kill this early and to already be, what, 5-1? Terrifying prospect.
This is a scary Azir, but I'll tell you who's also 5-1. It's Violet, who does go down there, but ultimately will still be in a very strong position here. Has an army to back him up, and is really now taking the strides we would be hoping to see from this combo early on. As we kind of take a moment to readjust from the chaos, we see the lane matchups have kind of returned to normal here, with the exception of both bot lanes being flipped to mid, and there is that Lucian army damage.
Yeah, that's the indication of the damage that can be found, right, that you've seen time and time again all over the years, right, with the first strike, Nami buff, and the rapid fire cannon. You just dash at somebody in the lane, and they do not expect that burst.
No, they don't here, and they might not expect this play here onto the bot lane either. Schönfire is in the area, and it will get spotted on a control ward, but Kisei is still all by himself.
You see the focus right now. Once again, Nocturne there to protect him as he goes golden and denies that initial Vi ultimate. Why not looking to try and get himself out of harm's way, and actually survives, be it a very clutch heal by Scott and some fancy juggling of the aggro too. But no, Kisei! You feel like he's safe, but he gets flipped back. And the battle between the two 5-1 carries, well now, Violet has got 7.
Oh, he just got overconfident there, Kisei. He used the E while still being on the Talia work ground, and that means that he will be stunned. Buys the crucial time for that flip to come through, like you said. And another kill going over to Violet there. So really a heads-up play from Team Bliss. They get the chunk on mid lane. This motivates him to come down towards the bot lane. And Schönfire is here. Yes, he is, but he's a very squishy Nocturne. So while Kisei is golden, he just falls down. And here is really where it goes bad. You can see the Talia E just laid out at the time he dashes. That kills him there, and benvi's not able to get the Devourer across. So finally, we get a little bit of separation here. And you can see Violet, he knows his fate. He's just dashing in every time he has the cooldown. And we'll take a look at the gold once again. There he is, 1,500 ahead of Kisei.
What the experiment was, can we shut this Smolder down or not? It's certainly proving to be successful so far. Up by 1,000 at the moment, and with this Herald crashing in the mid, soon to be a little bit more if they can get some extra pressure as a result of this one. It is going to force Ground Zero to match them, But for the meantime, they're going to say, well, you've done your one little push. We can sit to these side lanes and force you to respond to us instead. This does open the floor, though, for Violet to continue to do things just like this, with Why Not having his ultimate up in about 15 seconds. They may just pursue and wait for this tier 1 to crash.
Well, this Dragon should be completely theirs. You can see with Lemus being really confined to reactive wave clear duty, he can never walk up against this Violet and Scott combo. So for the time being, you can see Ground Zero, they're actually transitioning their attention towards the top lane here, wanting to put some pressure on this tier 2 turret. For the time being, TN just shoving waves into Bio Panther, but the trap's been set on mid lane. They're not actually hitting the Dragon. Perhaps seeing if they can get any more kills off the back of this.
Well, it does very much seem that they're going to be stubborn in their pursuit to use that item advantage that Violet possesses right now. And certainly Harry, despite looking like a support with the KDA, is very tanky himself, right, with the completed Archangels, making the Seraph's Embrace, as well as the Banshee's Veil. It'll be very hard to try and shut him down in these extended fights that we've come to expect so far and so early on. But I do like the response from Ground Zero, right? Don't entertain the idea of that 4-5v5. Try to force them to attend these side lanes and make sure that we become stronger as well.
That's the thing, Tien, despite being in a counter-pick matchup, has really been the one who has pushed on these side lanes into Biopanther. That is definitely a point of power that you can play around. I think mid lane is really where they're going to have to respond as the Dragon's picked up here by Schönfire. The big problem is that anytime Violet and Scott are on mid lane, how do you actually walk up? As it's so hard as a Smolder to actually be within distance, especially now the RFC and IE are both online here. So this Lucian, even if he just dashes forward, taps you twice, is basically going to be half healthing you. And now they're just going to bait Ground Zero, and then they're going to start up this Baron.
I think really the saving grace I'm sure a lot of players are happy about is that Gale Force is no longer a part of this combo that Lucian has online, right? Because that really was the icing on the cake, which made it ever so annoying to try and deal with. With that removed, they still will bear the brunt of a lot of damage going their way, and Tien can say, I've become immune for a second, but even then, he got tickled, and even he feels like he needs to go back to base.
Yeah, I think Team Bliss was trying to get a TP out there, so really nice by Ground Zero to hold their resolve, acknowledge that, okay, these 4 members can just stop the Baron, and Tien will walk up, throw out that needlework, and run away, saying his job is done. But yes, game goes later. It really does. You can see Bliss, they want to start something now. They want to find a way to put all these items they have on Violet to use. But so far, Ground Zero doing a really nice job of responding. Smolder in particular, despite not being able to really match up against this Lucian in that 2v2, definitely can wave clear incredibly well, even from range with that mum like we've seen used. And has the TP as well to defend that turret. So the fact that it doesn't go down to that Rift Herald attempt that we saw earlier, actually quite important here.
The concern that I'll raise though, Max, is the fact that we're at 23 minutes, the gold is still yet dead even, and Lemus has 216 stacks. So another wave, he gets that mini execute, the burn lasts, 6 seconds, so he's just farming Pentas for free. I don't know, despite Violet being this strong, if Bliss has done enough.
Well, that's what you'd hope, and you can see Team Bliss with the way that they're posturing towards the Baron might just look to start this up again once they clear out the vision. Now, there is that little Rift Scuttler that will give the awareness over to Ground Zero, and that might be enough to dissuade them for the time being. But side lane's really firmly in the control of Ground Zero. You can see Tien here on the bot side of the map pushing this wave up, demanding the attention of Hayri. It really has been feeling like this little back and forth. Neither team really able to accomplish too much in terms of either pushing turrets or getting on towards this Baron. Now Ground Zero will use this opportunity to clear the vision, re-establish themselves in the area. And it feels like the dance continues, but Benby...
stepped up a little bit too far there to try and gain some vision control to make sure that they could have certainty over this Baron pit. But I do still love this play from Ground Zero to attend to his side lanes, force Bliss to respond, and really pounce upon the fact that we have a Nocturne that could force a numbers mismatch. Both junglers then decide to say, you know what, enough is enough, let's force a fight in the mid lane. Devour comes out nicely protecting Nemes as they hunt for the kill, but as Biden answers, started off first, they removed down Schönfire. Kiese, incredibly fed, answers back in swift pursuit, and then Tien, who is a very fed Gwen, gets locked in the Acro Prison, if not would have run riot and really shredded everybody down. Bio is just going to dodge out in that sneeze, and the Counter-Strike coming out at the clutch time to prevent that execute threshold.
Dangerous territory, as it's also for Benby here, but it's a tanky tough Kench, not going to fall down to this initial engage. And Ground Zero, yes, it's a 1-for-1, but they get barred. That's the important member there. It was a really nice little play they cooked up there. Benvy was able to get over, get the Devour onto Lemus, saving his Smolder. As we take a look once again, the engage goes out, but there's really a lot of tools to separate this fight. The Nocturne Paranoia comes in, and then everyone from Ground Zero dogpiling Violet. He doesn't have a chance here. Meanwhile, there's a Devour to save Lemus, get him back into the fight. And on this back end, plain and simple, the Solar Laners of Ground Zero just do way more damage. It's going to mean that this extended fight goes in the favor of Ground Zero. Now, Fire here looking awfully close to falling down, does manage to just pull through. But you can already see just the danger of a 225 stack Smolder. A late game Gwen and a late game Azir, as mid lane really is the focal point here for Team Bliss.
That's why we raised the question before, right? I mean, as strong as you are, the lion's share of that gold was in possession of Violet. And the rest of the team just aren't able to match when that fight breaks out. Once again, Lemus going to trim their wave using his ultimate to make sure that this tier 1 does survive. They're doing a phenomenal job at that, but they're not going to be surviving for much longer because Scott is going to concede himself in the process. The lights go out. The flanking TP results in 2 members of Ground Zero rocking up, and they've just got the advantage because look how good Kisei is. He scoops back 2. He becomes a statue and gets rewarded with such a beautiful team fight victory. They've removed 3, and they've got Baron on their doorstep.
They don't need scrims, they're warm already, and that play really showing it there. Just a fantastic collapse, using the Paranoia to hide the TPs coming through. And with 3 kills already in pocket, they will take this Baron, but why not? He's in the area, he'll get the vision, has the smite, can he get the steal?
Would he dive? Would he jump in? Is it too early or is it too late? He's got the Baron steal! In what has been the most phenomenal turn of events this playoffs. Smite steal after smite steal. Schönfire now the one on the receiving end.
This time, why not? Saving the game there for Ground Zero. That really would have been the nail in the coffin. As we take a look once again at how this all breaks out here. Midwave is cleared. Paranoia popped nice and early. And look at the TPs coming through. Double TP actually here onto this wall in mid lane. Getting both Ten and Kisei in prime position. So even though Violet escapes the initial engage, you cannot escape that Azir. And the perfect zone is as well to deny the kill going back over. A fantastically executed team fight for Ground Zero. Now, obviously, it will really hurt that they didn't get the Baron. But on the other hand, Team Bliss, I believe only 2 members got it. Scott and Hayri with that buff. So by no means is it the worst situation in the world here. Gold lead, yes, it will be slowed down a little bit, but soul point for Ground Zero.
That it certainly is, and I'm sure Team Bliss going to be kicking themselves a little bit for giving across that other dragon, the third one, for 3 in favour of Ground Zero, because they've now put themselves in even more of a timer. And yes, still, it is Violet incredibly strong. He's now down 2 levels. You can see just how far ahead Lemus is, and you're thinking, how have they found themselves in this position?
Well, I mean, look at the CS gap. That's really where it is. You can see Lemus has essentially always been on waves because of the fact that he has TP, right? He's been ulting waves. He's been clearing them from range with his W, and now with this Q so far evolved, really is able to kind of one-shot those minions. So as the game goes on, it becomes ever harder for Team Bliss to actually get a foothold here. The mid lane tier 1 turret still standing. Yes, it's hanging on by a thread, but it is still there for the side of Ground Zero. And for a scaling comp to be up gold here at 28 minutes, up 2 dragons. Once again, Team Bliss feeling pressured, bringing almost every member here towards the mid lane.
Oh, Harry, will have to be a bit of a secret agent right now. James Bond style, 007. He's the only one on their team right now that has a bounty. Yet to find a kill. Plenty of assists. And you can understand the theory behind their mid-jungle pairing, right? The guaranteed lockdown between the Vi ultimates and the seismic shove thereafter. But it's been very far and few between that combo has been able to land very successfully in their favor. Obviously, you can overlap it with a Nami as a redundancy, if you will, but they're struggling to find the answers here. And it really has a bit of a field day for the likes of Kisei and Tien, just to jump into the backline and really do as they please.
I think that's why this combo hasn't really been able to land, is the fact that these team fights are so chaotic, right? They've never really had an opportunity where Talia is able to get as far into the fight as Vi is without putting herself at risk of falling down here. So 15 seconds left on Baron. This will just be the dregs of that buff running out right now. And what did manage to equalize the gold hasn't really netted themselves too much in terms of turrets. That tier 1 in the mid lane will have finally fallen down. But it does open up quite a big portion of the map for Team Bliss. So as we hit the 30-minute mark, gold is completely even, and this game doesn't appear to be going away anytime soon.
It certainly doesn't, and God forbid we have another 50-minute affair where you and I are thinking, we've got to do 5 games of this potentially, because there has been nothing to separate these two. Yes, you could say one member is fair than the other is also in that same category. And whilst these last few fights have definitely been Ground Zero favored, it sort of goes back to your early game point, right? The late game skilling of Ground Zero is simply phenomenal.
It's huge, and the thing that's kind of saving them here is the fact that Bard is so fed. Hold on, TN.
Again, looking to be isolated on the flanking angle right now as he runs inside the immunity circle. Cops to devour 2, then Sherfire jumps straight onto Scott, who's just Cops tied away but says, "You will not kill me." The extended range of Mum is not enough to snipe anybody out, but Kisei goes golden and instantly flashes out that Nami bubble, which was spelt disaster. Bio jumps in, hits the one-man cannon strike. Can they kill anybody? And finally, the support is the one to fall. That's a phenomenal fight, and you're really expecting more blood.
Low health bars everywhere. Team Bliss, the victors of that one, but I think we're a little bit unafraid to chase more into the smolder with that execute available now. Really, that was a pretty big disaster for Ground Zero. TN getting initially called off here on the side. Keep in mind this Gwen, as soon as she uses E, there's no mobility whatsoever to come out, and you can see they're very quick to capitalize on that. A nice devour to come through off the back end, but that leaves Sternfire in the middle of nowhere. Kisei as well off the back of that flash. Has to Zhonya's and immediately use the flash to get out of there. Bio jumping in, but look at all this damage coming through. Lemus as well is untouched in this entire fight. So it'll only be Bendy who goes down.
Really were expecting more bloodshed in that one. With Sternfire to start things up. Wasn't able to get the one shot they was hoping for there onto Scott as Harry looks to bully them away, force at the Sun Disc, as well as the TP too. So TN's going to regroup up. And with the Baron not spawning for another 50 seconds, you have to imagine that these teams are still just hunting for fights. And as you mentioned the other day, Max, you know, the objective is fighting.
Yeah, Team Bliss here though, they have grouped up as 5. You can see they're really willing to use this death ball here as a Mum. Clear out the mid-wave. Whereas Ground Zero, they've been targeted on these side lanes. Azir has this alone time with the turret, but they don't want to allow it to be alone time for long.
Certainly do not want to, because it just opens up more and more avenues for the likes of Tien. And even Kisei to a degree, just to threaten with those flanks. Kisei now may get punished based on the amount of mobility that Bliss have. They're going to flip him back, and that's the combo, the pairing of the Bliss mid-jungle finally showing its prowess.
The question is, Skimmy, can they get this soul in time? There's 4 seconds on the spawn. They have a lot of damage, but it's a 5v4. TP's coming through for Bio.
It's a risky TP as he jumps in instantly. He has the force out counter strike. He stuns 2 members and realizes that his team is there to back him up. Out goes the culling, but Tien becomes immune. But they've done enough to bully Ground Zero out of that Dragon Pit and make sure that there will not be a soul point just yet. Another 5 minutes afforded to them. And a Baron has spawned that the rush over to.
Yeah, it's just going to be the Baron going over as well here. You can see that Ground Zero, they will run out of base, but Benvi is really late on this recall. Tien as well, quite delayed. With the amount of DPS that they have, I do imagine they're just going to be able to get this one down. Now, keep in mind, if this altercation does go on for long enough, there's 10 seconds on Kisei, and he has a TP.
There comes Mum giving Limus a helping hand and trying to go for the steal, but Sternfire's not successful this time. He instantly gets taken out of the picture, so all 5 members of Blitz are waiting for those lights to come back on and reveal that, yes, it is now a 5v4 with Kisei only now returning to the fight with that TP from the right-hand side. Out goes the tidal wave. Benvi misses the dive. The counter-strike prepped and ready, and Kisei looking for the scoop. He's got no flash, he's got no dash, he's simply gonna die! As the flash is failed by Violet, and that is catastrophic! Lemus flashing into effect to find the first kill, but he instantly gets taken out of the picture by Harry. What a phenomenal time to find that second kill, as he jumps out and makes it free. What an ace!
Yeah, the ace and the Baron for Team Bliss here. There are some really long death timers, and both solo laners are still alive here. I wonder if they're gonna look. I don't think they can fully get the end, but they can certainly put a significant dent into the base of Ground Zero here. Why not there? Comes out victorious once again with the smite here. 2-0 now on these Barons. And that really is catastrophic. You could see Ground Zero, they were so disjointed because of that initial Azir death that they'd never had the amount of members there at the fight as Team Bliss. And that means they will eventually make mistakes. Lemus finally manages to go down for the first time this game. And that will blow this game open. As you can see here, Sternfire dashes in by himself here to try to get the steal. Not able to find it. And look at this Lemus here, kind of drooling at the thought of landing a Q here onto all these members of Team Bliss. But ultimately they're grouping up. They're too scary, especially with Violet coming over that wall. Kisei here really not able to find the play that he wants. Gets instantly collapsed upon by one. A really nice turn to tank out that flanking Azir. And then Lemus. The Devour's already used onto TN, who's almost one-shot there. So Lemus, once he gets collapsed upon, will fall down. And with Smolder gone, Gwen just gets completely ran down. And the ace to come through for Team Bliss.
And it certainly does. Now we create a little bit of daylight between the teams as it's up by 4,500 now for Bliss, but one is going to go for the face check, and that's not the one you want to go for. Thankfully, it's just a tongue lash that threatens him, so he can simply Justice Punch away. All things considered, for what was the only action that Kisei was able to provide, it was a pretty phenomenal Emperor's Divide, forced him to be basically glitched, stuck in that wall, making it very difficult for Violet to even move or hit that flash thereafter. But with 40 seconds left in this Baron and having already achieved nearly 5,000 gold with it, they're looking to find even more success. Now up by 6 towers to 4. The Dragon is there to clear this wave. 2 cannons still persevere though, and instantly they then fall on down. But everybody here in the bot lane is they really want to make sure that Grand Zero aren't able to split push anymore.
Well, now is really the time where Team Bliss need to be pushing these turrets. You can see 17 seconds here left on this Baron, as they will look to crack this tier 2 turret. They should be able to get it, because even though the Azir and Smolder have fantastic wave clear against the Baron, against this Lucian now, completely full build, it is so hard to actually walk up. Hayri too, who's really been the quiet achiever, sitting practically at a full build himself. But now with this Baron buff time, that is very hard to continue to siege into all the wave clear of Ground Zero.
It certainly is. You can see all 3 waves beautifully prepped in favor of Bliss. If they were able to find a pick, they certainly could have taken more than just an inhibitor. They could have potentially threatened the end. Given that respawn time is at this point, certainly are 40 seconds and counting. It's put a bit of a halt to the pressure that Grand Zero had managed to achieve for what felt like the first 25 minutes with a scaling comp that was simply keeping even in pace. And now they're going to be all in on this next objective, which is up in a minute, and it's a chance for them to then get that Kentech Drake, which is probably the ideal soul to get given the current state of this game. Yeah,
it absolutely is, right? So much value in these extended team fights where everybody's dropping to low HP. But the question is, if you're Ground Zero, do you actually want to contest this? Yes, it would be the soul, but at the same time, it's not an Elder. You don't really gonna cry if it does go over. As you can see, they've reverted to this death ball strategy as well. Side lane's a distant afterthought at this stage in the game. Really is about whoever gets that first move, and so far that'll be Ground Zero. All 5 members are poised and ready, whereas Biopanther has just come off a reset here. So they'll be able to get the first little move here into the bot side river. Tien, though, is very far zoned off. If they do manage to pick him off, that could be huge. But fine, I mean, look at that damage just from 2 autos.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. It's certainly enough to make sure the SWAT doesn't get any chance to utilize that dot burn, execute damage. All grouped up, holding hands together here, waiting for the moment to strike, looking to try and force an invitation as Violet says, you know what, the dash is up and ready. Let's be relentless in our pursuit of this kill. They summon the Weaver's Wall, they zone them out, they utilize their burst, and they snipe yet another dragon in consecutive attempts. 3 apiece now, as the Soul Point is delayed yet another 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm surprised Ground Zero didn't just look for the push there. You could see Tien was shoving the wave in mid, had really firm control of that. And either way, they're not going to be let in there. They're not going to be able to actually pick up the Soul, so Soul Point now equalized for both teams. Really does put a lot of pressure on that next objective spawning in 5 minutes. But as for the time being, it will be the Baron that will grab our attention next. 40 seconds on that objective spawn. As you can see, full build's basically coming across for everybody here. Bio's got the Zhonya's here, which is a really nice Jax pickup. Really allows him to have that survivability in the backline, even if he's dashing into a Smolder. And you can see now Kisei Void Staff completed. He's full build. Lemus here going to seek his arm guard, but very close himself. And now it really does come down to execution. Scaling, yes, slightly in the favor of Ground Zero, but Team Bliss have certainly showed us that with proper maneuvering, that doesn't matter whatsoever.
Yeah, and quite honestly, you mentioned the Smolder and the scaling conversation. He's already nearly at 450 stacks. Next, I mean, we talk about the execute being achieved at 225. His entire kit now is going to be doing so much damage. It's going to be a pretty terrifying prospect. But they're getting answered back instantly by a late game Azir. Is going to really impact how aggressive you can be, especially when the rapid fire cannon proc is not available. But with the Baron for a 3rd time up now, it's Ground Zero that actually threaten.
And they literally one-shot this. I mean, if Gwen and Azir are able to hit it, I'm pretty sure it dies in less than 5 seconds with how fed these 2 members are at the moment. But for the time being, this next mid-wave will be the priority. Tien, though, is on vision here, taking a control wall, which gives Violet the go signal.
That culling really does hurt there. The locker coming in absolutely clutch there by benV. Burt for the skirmish, not going to be up for that fight. That could be the difference. Bio threatening on the side, keeping their options open. Waves are crashing, still in Bliss's favour. The Weaver's Wall once again used to zone them away. It worked for them when it came to that Dragon. It's going to work for them again. Seemingly here for the Baron. We're down to 40%. Yves' life goes in. The knockup is fantastic. Harry instantly flashing away. The Baron is forgotten about for the meantime because Schön's not been able to find the pick that he's after. Bio goes gone and he jumps at another Sonya's. Is used to good effect. And look at Violet. He's burning. He gets the Summoner Hill. That is the difference maker. Limes overextends to get the kill on Harry, but they just can't find it. This really is the game of League of Zonias.
Kisei, what can he get? He's a full HP Azir, no vision onto any members of Team Bliss. I don't think he can face check this. He might be looking to cancel backs here. TP's coming out though from Bio.
Really are, they're threatening him. He instantly TP's onto TN's head and says, Kisei, I know where you are, I know what you're trying to achieve, but I'm not going to allow it to happen on my watch. The shield's back available here for Harry, dodging that initial burst from that Banshee's Veil, but still, they play calm, they play measured, they don't take over any portion of the map that is not required, and oh, it's getting dicey here. It really is getting dicey as we hit the 41-minute mark.
It's so close here, and you can see Harry's going to use the TP onto mid lane. Doesn't want to give any alone time to the Baron for ground zero, but they're going to hit it anyway here, Skimmy. Why not? Has base. There's no smite in the area.
There is no smite, and as you mentioned, the Baron falls on down so quickly off of vision. It is deleted. Instantly Schön by the one that gets it for his team. Gets removed by a beautiful culling, but Kisei answers back, and now Tien is doing a fair bit of damage, but Violet goes crazy wherever he gets himself a double kill. The tidal wave denied. The Aqua Prison denied, but the seismic shot will not be the Devour. It's good for the meantime, but the shield gets instantly popped. It's a triple for Violet. He wants that pentakill. He's on the quadra. He gets the penta.
You might have Smolder, but we have Violet. Team Bliss, 42 minutes in, they'll get the ace, and they'll look to take game one.
Ultra Violet, baby, he is back in business. It's been such a long time since we've been able to say such a famous line like that. Take me back to the days of old Peace versus Pentanet, where we said it every other week. But this early game bully, this Lucian Nami combo, and you asked the question, could it beat Smolder? Well, it has done now.
It absolutely has here. What an affair for game one. We knew it was going to be close, but this really was a nail-biter here. Ultimately, Team Bliss, they prevail off the back of a fantastic Baron fight from Violet, and they'll go up 1-0 in the series.